Hello, candle lovers. Thanks for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg, and this is All About Candles. I'm your self-proclaimed Canadian candle connoisseur, and every Sunday I like to bring you the WWW, the weekly wax wrap-up. This is a really quick breakdown of all the candles that I finished burning this week, how they smelled, how they performed, all that good stuff. So let's just get right into it. We're gonna start things off with a couple of these Disney princess candles from Bath & Body Works. And this one is Tiana. I have full-length reviews out for all of the candles that I'm going to be talking about this week, so I will link to them below if you are interested. And so at this point, I have harped on quite a bit about how disappointed I am with the packaging on the Disney Princess candles, so we will just leave it at that. The scent notes on Tiana are delicate water lily, gilded amber, and shimmering bayou woods. And this was one of the more interesting and unique fragrances of the Disney Princess candles, but it still wasn't... It didn't really capture me, unfortunately. I do go back and forth a little bit on how much I liked each of these candles. I know for sure that Ariel and Jasmine were my favorites. I think that my least favorites were probably Belle and Moana. And so Tiana kind of fell a little bit in the middle for me. Fragrance is kind of like vaguely zesty, vaguely floral, vaguely citrusy, vaguely watery. I feel like I've kind of settled on telling myself that this is like a bergamot candle because it's got that sort of aquatic vibe to it and also a little bit of like a zesty citrus vibe. And, you know, Bayou Woods is listed on there, gilded amber. Sometimes certain types of amber tend to have a little bit of a citrus or a zesty component to it, like a bright white amber. And so, it's not a horrible fragrance. It's pleasant enough, but it's not very unique. It's one of the more unique fragrances of some of the Disney Princess candles, but it's certainly like nothing to write home about. Not going to be a repurchase or a recommendation for me. One thing I have noticed with these Disney Princess candles is that they've all performed pretty much exactly the same, which is to say that the strength and throw on all of them are somewhere between like a 5 and a 6. 5, 5.5, 6 in a smaller to medium space, and they all burned absolutely beautifully. Like, they burned all the way down to the wick nickels with no sooting, no discoloration, no nothing, no dudding out at the 1/3 mark, burned beautifully and cleanly, medium to low strength and throw. And so it's just a bit of a bummer that the fragrances didn't excite me a little bit more, and there was not a lot of variety. Like I said, I do think Tiana was one of the more unique ones, but that still doesn't make it good. I know that there was a little bit of an upset. I saw quite a few people mentioning that they thought Tiana should have been like the gourmand fragrance of the collection. I don't know much about Princess Tiana. I don't know if she loves to bake or just loves to eat cake, but there should have been like a gourmand candle in the collection, like a bright pink princess cake or something. I don't know. I mean, it was kind of an all right, watery bergamot candle, in my opinion. And that brings us to Belle. It's the other thing about these candles. I'm colorblind, you guys. And so these two candles and Moana looked pretty much exactly the same to me. I mean, all of the details on these labels just get like completely lost. One thing that I didn't notice until like pretty late in the game was that once you do burn the candles down, there's kind of a cute like Easter egg message in there with another picture of the princess silhouette. And these are like character traits. Like Belle's says, compassionate, intelligent, genuine. And the scent notes on Belle are rose petals, sparkling buttercup, and whipped vanilla. And I really pick up on gardenia in this candle. To me, this candle smells like gardenia more than anything else. Like a white floral with some vanilla in there, but not even a nice, rich, deep vanilla, kind of a watery vanilla. I wish that this had been like a really nice pure red rose scent note, and then maybe kind of like a library, like paper or woodsiness to it. You know, candles like Book Loft, Bridgerton Study, Penelope's Kiss, like Belle loves to read, and we all know the significance of the rose in, you know, the Beauty and the Beast story. So what if the Belle candle had been like a beautiful rose garden in a library or something? I think that would have been really interesting and good and unique. But yet again, this was kind of just another sort of vaguely fruity floral, perfect for spring, perfect for body care candle. And the strength and throw on Belle, once again, like in a more open area, a 5, in a smaller to medium area, maxed out at like probably a 6. Beautiful, nice, clean burn all the way down to the bottom. No dudding out at the 1/3 mark. None of that. Like, I don't know, you guys. Those are the only 2 Disney Princess candles that I finished burning this week, so I can stop talking about them now. At this point, Ariel I'm really enjoying. Ariel is the candle in the collection that I'm savoring, but when it comes to the rest of them, I'm kind of just excited to get them all finished and out of my house. How big of a bummer is that? I was so excited when I first heard about the Disney Princess candles. All right, I also finished up a fresh coconut and cotton from Bath & Body Works. This came out a little while ago, and then we never saw it again, and I was worried that would happen, so I bought like 3 of them, and this was my last one. The scent notes on here are coconut, coastal breeze, and beachside cotton. Oh, I'm so sad that this is my last one. This is a really nice sort of like well-balanced fragrance. I guess it's got like really high qualities and a really low quality to it. So I'd say that it's nicely balanced and in like a medium range. A nice bright linen on top, some coconut in the middle. Oh, it's really, really nice. And this is this candle was 2022. And so this was the beginning of sort of a scent profile that we're getting a lot from Bath & Body Works. This candle smells very similar to Vanilla Coconut Surf, which is now repackaged as Vanilla Coconut. Very similar to Whipped Honey and Vanilla, which we saw in the fall, and also pretty similar to Pistachio Milk and Honey, which we're getting right now in the Neutrals line. There's kind of this kind of gourmandy, fluffy, fuzzy vanilla sort of fragrance accord that Bath & Body Works has used quite frequently for the last couple of years in several different candles. And this was kind of the beginning of that sort of fuzzy vanilla accord note. And this one is sort of augmented with the coconut and that sort of like linen scent. And I really like it. And this was a good performer too. In my more open area, this was like a 7 for strength and throw. I burned it all the way down till the whole thing had liquefied and I could see the wick nickels. This had thick ropey wicks on it. I found that I really had to limit the burn times on this, or else the flames did get kind of crazy and out of control. But it was a nice clean performer from top to bottom. What happened at the end there is like right at the end of the candle, I let it go off for a little bit longer than I should have. I let it go off quite a bit, and so that's part of the reason why the wax looks a little dark. That was kind of my fault. Once the whole candle liquefied, I kind of was like, oh, this is gonna be my last burn on it, so I'm just gonna let it go off for as long as I can. Then I did catch it sooting a little bit, so I had to call it a day. I'm so sad that this is my last fresh coconut and cotton. Yeah, it came out in 2022. I really hope we see it again soon, because this one was nice, and I think this is the superior candle to all of the candles that have come after it that are so similar. Anyways, I also finished up burning Backyard Honeysuckle. This is the version that came out last spring, and I do believe that last spring was the first time that we saw it. Had a hammered sort of lid on there, which I think is a nice touch. I really like the sort of chicness but also slightly sort of country vibe of these candles. There was also hummingbird tea cake in this sort of packaging, which was another candle I really liked. Anyways, the scent notes on Backyard Honeysuckle are sweet honeysuckle, orange flower blossom, and neroli nectar. I love neroli fragrances. And this one leans maybe just a little touch more perfumey than I would have liked for it to, but I still really enjoy it. It's nice. It's quite bright. It's quite sweet. A little bit perfumey. I feel like I get a little bit of musk in there. I think that the neroli is really front and center. If I were to smell this without knowing what it is, I think I'd say that it was a neroli fragrance. And it's got a nice honeyed note to it as well. It's floral. It's sweet without being too sweet. I really like Backyard Honeysuckle. I haven't picked one up this year in the new packaging, but now I'm kind of thinking that if they're still around at like semi-annual sale, or if there is a really good candle sale, I might get another one to burn soon. It performed quite nicely. Thick ropey wicks on this one. This one you also had to be careful. Limit the burn times to like 2 hours because the flames really did get going on it, but I didn't have any dud out problems or anything. It did get a little bit dirty and murky, but nothing that I was really concerned about. Strength and throw was pretty good. I'd say in my more open area, this was like a 7 for strength and throw. It definitely had a presence to it. I never even bothered putting it in like bathroom or a bedroom. It was nice and strong in a more open space and was really kind of a nice like start to floral honeyed spring for me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I like that one. I also finished up a pink lavender and espresso. I've talked about this candle so many times on my channel. I feel like, you know, this is the 4th or 5th time that it's come up in my weekly wax wrap up. This is the version that was poured in 2023. So this is the very first version of this candle. I have subsequently bought the newer versions that have come out and burned them. And this original version, I think, had the most performance issues. The scent notes are rich pink lavender, caramel espresso beans, and smooth vanilla. I have a pretty detailed review out of this candle, which I will link to below. This is probably one of my top 5 favorite fragrances from Bath & Body Works right now. There's like no fragrance left in this one because the first version of this candle had performance issues. I love the fragrance, very medium to low range. I'd say it really does feel like what they did is they took lavender marshmallow and added an espresso note to it, and I just think it's perfection. I love this fragrance. But like I said, this very first version of the candle had the most performance issues, and the first like half of the candle always would burn really, really nicely, but then it would get a little bit weird and sooty, and I would always get one soot stain on the side of this pour of the candle, just like that, right there. Every single time I burned this version of pink lavender and espresso, I ended up with one of those marks somewhere on the jar. No matter how careful I was with it or how much I trimmed the wicks, I would always, the first version of this candle, I always burned the first half and it performs fine. It's like a 7 for strength and throw in a more open area. But then the last half is always issue after issue. So I put it under a candle lamp in my kitchen, and then I put it in the candle crock in my bedroom. I love this fragrance so much that I'm perfectly happy only really being able to burn the first half of the candle and then lamping or crocking the second half of it. I do feel like the latest iterations of it still have issues after the halfway mark, but not as bad as the very first version of this candle, which is what this one is. I also finished up a whipped cream and cashmere from Goose Creek. This is one of my favorite Goose Creek candles. It's a really nice sort of like fluffy, cottony, cozy vanilla fragrance. I called this line, this collection from Goose Creek, I called the grandmother's porch candles. The scent notes on whipped cream and cashmere are soft cashmere, amber, sandalwood, jasmine, and vanilla. Just a really nice, lovely, soft vanilla fragrance. It really is just a vanilla and cashmere fragrance, but without like a floral component, without anything else. It's just pretty straightforward, but really, really nice, lovely, well balanced. I have issues burning this candle, and the first time that I burned this candle, I told myself I was gonna do the same thing that I do with this version of pink, lavender, and espresso, which is that I would only burn the first half of it and then melt or crock the second half of it, because this candle also got really, really dirty, icky, and sooty. And this is the second time that I've burned it. The first time that I burned it, I told myself I wasn't gonna burn it after the halfway point. I was gonna melt it or crock it. It's such a beautiful fragrance. So the second one, I don't think I'm gonna burn it at all. I think I'm either gonna crock it in the bedroom or put it under the candle lamp in my kitchen. It's more of a bedroom fragrance for me. So I think I'm just gonna crock the second one straight from the go. However, I kind of forgot about that, and one of the burns around here, all of a sudden out of nowhere, just got murky and gross, and it corrupted the wax. And so sadly, I burned the last half of this candle outside just for some ambience. Now, I do have one more of these in my stash, and I'm gonna do my best to remember that I can only burn the first half of it and then put the last half under my candle lamp. Yeah, because it's good for strength and throw. Considering it's a vanilla cashmere candle, I'd say this is like a 6 in a more open area, maybe a 6.5 or a 7 in the bedroom. But yeah, it performed exactly like my first one did, which is that it turns on a dime real quick, gets dirty, murky, and yeah, I burned the rest of this one outside. And that is part of the reason why it looks so bad. Once I banish a candle outside, I just burn it and let it go off for hours. I do keep an eye on it. I don't leave them out there burning by themselves. In my like living space, I can see outdoors to like the patio, and so I put it in like a nice hurricane that glows out there in the evening. So it's really just creating ambience outside for me at that point. I really hope that this candle comes out again soon, and I hope that they've corrected the performance issue with it. Goose Creek really does get some dirty, murky, sooty candles sometimes, but they have some really great, strong fragrances, which is what just keeps me coming back for more, you know? Like, here are two candles that I know are not gonna perform very well, and I know that they get dirty and sooty and gross, but I love them so much that I like make allowances for it. You know you're a candle addict when. And last but not least, I finished off this lavender vanilla from Homeworx. This candle was a disaster. I mean, it looks beautiful, and it looked pretty when it was burning too. No one does photographic wraparound labels as well as Homeworx does, and it's a really lovely fragrance. We've got lavender, vanilla, sandalwood, and cedarwood. I don't really pick up on sandalwood or cedarwood. For me, this is a really bright, sort of sharp but nice like lavender fragrance on top, and it is well balanced with a bit of a sort of rich but not gourmandy, not too sweet vanilla. It's like a soft, rich vanilla. It's an absolutely lovely fragrance. But this candle burned atrociously. These wicks, these are just the worst wicks. Like, this is the 2023 version of this candle. It's a 2023 pour date. I recommend avoiding this. I got this at Marshall's in Palm Springs, and the very first burn on this candle, I burned it like 5-6 hours and it would not pool out. Like, this candle never burned properly. These wicks were always teeny tiny. The wicks were always struggling. The candle never pulled out. In fact, you can see the original wax line up here still exists. Like, there's still wax running all the way up to like the top of the jar where the pour starts. So, you know, I would let this candle burn for hours and hours and hours, and it never fully pooled out, which means it never got a nice, deep, even wax pool, which means the strength and the throw was abysmal. In my more open area, it was completely lost, like a 4 or a 4.5. I had to be standing like 3 or 4 feet away from it to be able to smell it. In my bedroom, there were a couple of burns where I feel like it gave me a little bit of a presence, like maybe a 5. If I'm being super generous, maybe a 5.5, but these teeny tiny crooked wicks are just the worst. Like, what a bummer, man. Like, I don't buy that many Homeworx candles. They are kind of difficult for me to get my hands on. I know, like, back in the good old days, I used to not mind having to pay big prices to get Homeworx up here. But now I pretty much only ever get them when I'm in the United States at a discount retailer, and I'm only paying like $12 or $13 because you just never know what you're gonna get in terms of like strength and throw and performance, which is such a shame because they have some candles that have such lovely fragrances. But I've actually got quite a few Homeworx candles that I'm planning on burning this spring. So Homeworx, you're gonna have a chance to redeem yourself this spring. I really hope that the next candle that I get from you performs better. I mean, look at that. Look at that. Just brutal. I actually purposefully saved just a teeny little bit of this because I'm gonna put it under my candle lamp in my kitchen and see if I can get some fragrance out of it that way. Because even though I couldn't really burn this candle anymore, there's quite a bit of wax left in here. So I'm gonna see if warming it, you know, kind of does the trick. Yeah, that was such a bummer for me. I'm going to be doing a battle of the lavender vanillas, by the way, because right now I've got this candle. I've got a lavender vanilla from Bath & Body Works and a lavender vanilla candle from Goose Creek. So once I'm done burning all 3 of these lavender vanillas, I'm going to do a battle of the lavender vanillas video and sort of compare all candles and rank them first to third. Although, spoiler alert, I think Homeworx is going to be coming in last just because I really couldn't even burn it properly. That's all I've got for you folks today. The whole weekly wax has been wrapped up. How are you folks doing? Let me know what you're up to in the comments below. Let me know how your week's been. Mine's been really, really busy. This new job has been keeping me very, very busy. This week I spent most of the last half of the week attending the Canadian National Pride Conference. It was in Calgary this year, actually just like a 10-minute walk down the street from me at the Westin Hotel. It's not like super related to the work that I'm doing anymore, but it's always good to sort of check in with the community and keep tabs on things and do a little bit of networking. So I really enjoyed attending that. Good breakfasts. A lot of these conferences always have good breakfasts. And, you know, I work with one of my best friends, my colleague Teddy, and so we always have a hoot, you know, working together, working hard and playing hard, as they would say. So I was really busy with that this week. You know, we're approaching the 1-year anniversary of All Aboot candles. In fact, this is the 47th weekly wax wrap up that I have done. I cannot believe that. Time just flies. April 1st is the 1-year anniversary of All Aboot candles. Let me know in the comments below what I should do for the 1-year anniversary of the channel. I'm very open to suggestions. I'm gonna have a pretty slow next 2 weeks ahead of me, but it's gonna be the calm before the storm. I've got a lot of travel coming up for different meetings and conferences. Last week of March, I'm gonna be in Red Deer and then in Edmonton, and then the first week of April, I'm gonna be in Ottawa and then in Vancouver, and so I'm not gonna actually be in town on April 1st when it's the 1-year anniversary of the channel, but I'm gonna have to do something fun for it. I can't guarantee I'm gonna be able to go live if I'm like out of town though. I'm gonna have to figure out how that's gonna work. It's probably gonna be a mix of like pre-recorded videos and also maybe some videos that I record from my hotel rooms. You guys do seem to get a kick out of me recording videos in the hotel rooms, so maybe there will be a little bit of that. So yeah, no, work is good. It's keeping me very busy, agile, and flexible, but I'm really enjoying my new role, and it feels really good to be doing good work with good people. So I'm feeling pretty happy about things for the most part. Today I'm kind of just chilling out with the boyfriend. I have already sort of selected the bottle of wine that we're going to be enjoying for the rest of the day. I just got the gym out of the way, got the weekly wax wrap up wrapped up. So the rest of the day is going to consist of wine drinking, book reading, boyfriend time spending, and TV show watching. Oh, we're gonna catch up on Yellow Jackets tonight, which is a really fabulous, creepy show, and The White Lotus. I'm obsessed with The White Lotus. What a good show. Ooh, and I'm loving this season so far. It takes place in Thailand, and it's everything. It's funny, it's dramatic, it's juicy. I just love it. And Carrie Coon is actually like one of the actresses in this season, and I absolutely love Carrie Coon. She was so good in The Leftovers. I think The Leftovers might be like one of my favorite shows ever, and a big part of that reason is because Carrie Coon is just such a fantastic actress. So yeah, pretty usual like Sunday night plans around here. Let me know what your plans are in the comments below. Let me know what candles you're burning in the comments below. You can also follow me on Instagram at allaboutcandles and email your burning questions to allaboutcandles@gmail.com. If you could hit me up with a thumbs up, like this video, subscribe to my channel, that would really mean the world to me. I'll be back tomorrow with a candle review, and so until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye now.